If there's one character who could walk into Mayberry, trip over his own shoelaces, and somehow still walk out looking like a hero, it's Barney Fife, played brilliantly by Don Knotts. Barney wasn't just Andy's right-hand man at the sheriff's office, he was the heart, the humor, and often the chaos of the Andy Griffith Show. From his over-the-top sense of duty to his shaky grip on that single bullet he was allowed to carry. Barney became a television legend. Week after week, audiences tuned in not just to see Andy keep the town running smoothly, but to watch Barney stumble, recover, and surprise everyone, sometimes even himself. What made Don Knotts' portrayal so unforgettable wasn't just the comedy, it was the way he made us care. Behind the puffed-up chest and nervous energy was a man who truly wanted to do the right thing. And that mix of laughter, heart, and sheer unpredictability turned Barney Fife into one of the most beloved sitcom characters of all time. In this episode, we'll revisit the very best of Don Knotts as Barney Fife, the laughs, the blunders, and the moments of unexpected brilliance that made television history. When you think of Barney Fife, you can't help but picture him fumbling with that revolver he was only trusted to load with a single bullet. One of the funniest running gags in the entire series was Barney's relationship with that lone round of ammunition. Whether it was dropping it on the floor, struggling to get it into the chamber, or firing it off at exactly the wrong moment. Audiences knew they were in for a laugh every time the bullet episode came around. Another classic moment came when Barney decided to prove his sharpshooting skills. In his mind, he was the fastest gun in the South. In reality, his hands shook, his timing was off, and his proud demonstration ended in a complete mess. Andy's calm smile beside him only made the scene funnier, highlighting their perfect on-screen chemistry. And then there's Barney's overconfidence as an undercover agent. He could never quite blend in, whether he was playing a gambler, a house servant, or even pretending to be a doctor. His disguises were hilariously unconvincing. Yet that blind confidence made the comedy shine. What Don Knotts did so brilliantly was take these embarrassing blunders and make them lovable. You didn't just laugh at Barney, you rooted for him. Every fall, every slip, every wide-eyed moment of panic made him more human, more real, and even more endearing. These scenes weren't just funny sketches. They were little reminders that even when we fall short, there's still dignity and laughter to be found in trying. What kept Barney Fife from being just another slapstick character was the depth Don Knotts brought to him. Beneath the flailing arms and the shaky voice was a man with a big heart, someone who genuinely believed in his duty to keep Mayberry safe. That sincerity gave weight to the comedy. Think about the times when Barney was desperate to prove himself. He'd puff out his chest, march into the jailhouse, and declare his authority with total confidence. Moments later, of course, something would go wrong, a key jammed, a prisoner escaped, or his gun misfired. Yet through the embarrassment, you could still sense Barney's determination. He wasn't trying to be funny. He was trying to be the best deputy he could be. And that's where the magic happened. Don Knotts allowed viewers to see themselves in Barney, the insecurity, the eagerness to be respected, the desire to make a difference, even when we're in over our heads. Everyone has had a Barney moment, when effort and outcome just don't match up. The real heart of the character also showed in his loyalty to Andy. No matter how many times Andy had to cover for him, Barney's admiration never wavered. Their friendship anchored the show, reminding audiences that true bonds are built on patience, trust, and forgiveness. That balance between laughter and tenderness was the genius of Don Knotts. He made us laugh until our sides ached, but he also made us care deeply about a bumbling deputy in a small southern town. No discussion of Barney Fife is complete without talking about Andy Taylor. The chemistry between Don Knotts and Andy Griffith was the cornerstone of the Andy Griffith Show. On paper, Andy was the calm, wise sheriff, while Barney was the jittery deputy. But on screen, their friendship became something truly timeless. Andy had the remarkable ability to let Barney shine without ever making him the butt of the joke. When Barney puffed up with false bravado, Andy didn't ridicule him, he guided him. His gentle patience allowed Barney's antics to unfold naturally, and that contrast made the comedy sparkle. One of the best examples comes from the many times Andy had to quietly fix a situation Barney had botched. Whether it was talking down a prisoner that Barney accidentally armed, or diplomatically smoothing over a misunderstanding in town, Andy always stepped in with calm wisdom. But instead of making Barney feel small, Andy often gave him just enough credit to keep his confidence intact. That delicate balance between support and subtle correction is why their partnership felt so real. It wasn't just about laughs. It was about friendship. About two men who understood each other's strengths and weaknesses and worked together anyway. For audiences, their bond reflected something deeper, the kind of friendship everyone longs for. Someone who believes in you, even when you trip over your own feet. Someone who sees the best in you, even in your worst moments. Together, Andy and Barney weren't just a comedic duo. They were the heart of Mayberry, reminding us that life's funniest and most meaningful moments are often shared with a friend by your side. While Barney Fife will forever be Don Knotts' signature role, his career went far beyond the borders of Mayberry. After leaving the Andy Griffith Show in the mid-1960s, Knotts proved he was no one-note comedian. He starred in a string of successful films, including The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, The Incredible Mr. Limpet, and The Reluctant Astronaut. Each role carried that same quirky, nervous energy, but also showed his versatility as a performer who could anchor a story on the big screen. Knotts even became a regular face for younger generations when he joined Disney's The Apple Dumpling Gang series in the 1970s, pairing with Tim Conway in a comedy duo that echoed the charm he once shared with Andy Griffith. And for television audiences in the 1980s, he was unforgettable as the landlord Ralph Furley on Three's Company, where his colorful wardrobe and exaggerated expressions once again stole the show. But through all these projects, audiences never stopped seeing a little bit of Barney and Don. That was the magic. He had created a character so iconic that it lived with him, even as his career grew and changed, and he embraced it. Knotts often spoke fondly of his time in Mayberry, grateful for the role that earned him multiple Emmy Awards and a permanent place in television history. More than just laughs, his work left behind a legacy of joy. Don Knotts gave viewers permission to laugh at life's awkwardness, to see strength in vulnerability, and to find comfort in characters who were flawed but genuine. Decades after the Andy Griffith Show first aired, Barney Fife remains one of television's most recognizable and beloved characters. What's remarkable is how audiences of all ages continue to connect with him. Reruns, streaming platforms, and classic TV marathons introduce new generations to Mayberry, and time after time, it's Barney who steals the spotlight. Why does he still resonate? Because Barney embodies something universal. We've all been in over our heads. We've all tried to look braver or stronger than we felt. And we've all stumbled in front of others. Watching Barney do the same, but with such exaggerated sincerity, turns embarrassment into laughter, and laughter into empathy. He also represents an era of comedy that feels refreshingly simple. No flashy effects, no cutting-edge scripts, just character-driven humor, anchored by Don Knotts' genius. His wide-eyed panic, nervous tics, and booming declarations created a comedy that required no translation. Whether you grew up in the 1960s or the 2020s, Barney Fife makes you laugh the same way. Beyond the humor, Barney's appeal is tied to the show's larger message that life in a small town, filled with ordinary people, can be endlessly entertaining and meaningful. He wasn't a superhero. He wasn't flawless. But he cared deeply, tried hard, and never gave up. And in that, audiences saw both the comedy and the heart of humanity. Even now, when fans quote "nip it in the bud" or recall his single bullet routine, they're not just remembering a TV gag. They're celebrating a character who taught us that imperfection can be lovable and that sometimes our biggest mistakes make for our best stories. Barney Fife was more than just comic relief. He was the soul of the Andy Griffith Show. Don Knotts crafted a character so unique, so vulnerable, and so hilariously human that he became a cultural touchstone. Decades later, we're still laughing at his blunders, still quoting his lines, and still feeling a tug at the heart when he stands tall with shaky knees, determined to do his job. What makes Barney's story endure is its honesty. He reminded us that it's okay to fail, to be clumsy, to reach a little higher than our abilities sometimes allow. Because in the end, effort and heart matter more than perfection. And thanks to Andy's quiet patience, viewers also learned the value of friendship, standing by those we care about, even when they falter. That's why Barney Fife isn't just a TV character, he's family. He represents the neighbor, the friend, maybe even a part of ourselves we can laugh at with affection. As we celebrate the best of Don Knotts as Barney Fife, we're reminded of the timeless charm of Mayberry. It's a place where comedy came from character, where mistakes became memories, and where one bumbling deputy left an indelible mark on television history. If you've got a favorite Barney Fife moment, whether it's the single bullet routine, his undercover disguises, or one of his unforgettable speeches, share it in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories. And don't forget, subscribe to our channel to keep exploring the magic of the Andy Griffith Show and the golden era of 1960s television. After all, in Mayberry, there's always another laugh waiting just around the corner.